Thank you, everyone, for your support and concerns regarding my injuries. I want to give you all an update as I am in the recovery process. I've suffered a PCL grade 2 sprain on the borderline of a strain 3. There is still inflammation surrounding my knee, and my knee remains unstable. I'm still in good spirits as I continue with treatments on the road to recovery. I wish I could be out there with my guys more than anything, but I can't give 100% of myself to my guys and fans. I'm still hopeful we still have a chance. That's directly from Lamar Jackson himself yesterday. And everyone who pays any attention to sports is aware of all the talk that surrounds this because of his contractual situation and everything else. What are people telling you?
Yeah, you have to wonder, is this actually Lamar Jackson holding his team hostage? Well, I asked some sources in Baltimore, and the response I get is he's not 100%. He's not 100%. Now, the next layer, perhaps, the next question you may want to ask Lamar is, Lamar not at 100% better than a backup at 100%, right? Because, guys, I don't need to tell you two. You play football to win Super Bowls. Contract stuff works it out. That usually after you win a Super Bowl, we saw with Joe Flacco, you'll get the money you want and deserve. So you have to, wonder what's going through Lamar's mind. How is he playing this? Is he being reserved to perhaps protect himself?
Look, the bottom line of it is this. I would never question whether a player is hurt or not. I'm not in his head. I'm not in his knee. I don't know. But the simple fact is, if he's too hurt to play, nothing is stopping his coach from saying that. John Harbaugh has repeatedly refused to say, look, guys, Lamar's just too hurt to play. When he's healthy enough to play, we'll put him out there. And, Tim, that has been striking to me all week.
And I agree with you on that has been striking, and that's actually kind of been going on for a while in terms of how Harbaugh has addressed the situation. I thought about this as well. Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Tua, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, they all had significant injuries at some point this season. Did any of them address in detail their injury status? No, because you don't. You don't do that unless you were trying to let everybody know how hurt you are.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bizarre situation. With that being said, and if you can kind of compartmentalize that, the reality of it is this. If Baltimore loses this weekend, Lamar Jackson then has 0 opportunities for him to get hurt playing football between now and, between that point and being guaranteed $40 million, or roughly around there, at least.
For the franchise tag.
For the franchise tag, which, by the way, is more money than he has made in his entire career so far. So, listen, nobody would have faulted him for holding out. Actually, nobody, but people would not have faulted him that much for holding out in September. He now is at the doorstep of the most money that he'll ever be guaranteed in his career.
So, Nico, how should we read this? Because we use the word holdout. And again, no one is questioning that he's hurt. Every player in the NFL is to some degree hurt at this point of the season. But the way the coach is talking about it, it sounds like the way coaches talk about players when they're holding out in training camp. We'll talk about the guys who are here. I don't have any update for you on that. I'm just focused on the game or the things that I can control. The coach sounds like he's talking about a player who's holding out.
I'm sure Harbaugh is frustrated. And look, every single year you strive to make it into the playoffs and get to a Super Bowl. And when you have a backup quarterback, your chances of winning this matchup and getting deep into the playoffs, slim chance. So I'm sure he's frustrated. But at the end of the day, the player has to be 100% confident that when they stick their foot in the ground, they're going to cut and they're going to be able to play the game the way that they feel confident to play the game. It's really mental. This game is mental, and how you feel physically can really affect everything that you do. So I think Lamar, especially a PCL injury, I think this is being downplayed. A PCL injury is just as bad as an ACL injury. It's almost worse because you can fix an ACL, and you hear it all the time. Oh, a guy has his ACL fixed. Okay, he's back in a year. A PCL, they can go and try and correct the PCL injury, but it's not as great of a result as a normal ACL tear. So he has to be very cautious. And a sprain is a tear. That's another thing. An ACL sprain is an ACL tear.
Right.
So he has a torn PCL, a sprain. So if he goes out there and the same mechanism of how he hurt it happens again, he drives his knee into the ground and he tears it completely, he's going to have a reconstruction.
Yeah, we saw with Zach Wilson. Remember, he missed 4 games with that same exact injury. This is going a little longer.
Right. That's going long. The question, I think, Ed, that is kind of everyone's wondering is, if he had signed the contract,
would he be out there?
Phillip Rivers played in a playoff game with a torn ACL, right? Like
different
Different players and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and I just
True.
listen,
Yeah.
Look.
I think to your point, Greeny,
Yeah.
how the coach has addressed it
it's
has
fishy.
caused.
Yeah.
Let me put the ribbon on it with this. And look, maybe they win the game on Sunday night. I don't think anyone expects it, but it's not impossible. But one way or another,
Yeah.
the people you talk to, is the expectation that Lamar Jackson this offseason could wind up on another team?
There is 100% a thought that Lamar Jackson won't be a Baltimore Raven if this team decides to move on, right? Because they have structured their entire offense based on Lamar's strengths. But maybe through this journey and seeing that he has been injured, they start to take a look and rethink what they want to do moving forward. Because this is going to be a complete restructure if they move on from Lamar.
What a fascinating bidding war we could see teams getting into if Lamar Jackson winds up being in play this offseason. Meanwhile, thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.